Good morning. Today is May 12th, the second Sunday of May, which is the Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day. Through today's gathering, through meditation practice, and by listening to Reverend Yowon's Dharma talk on living a grateful life, we will reflect on the grace of mothers and to honor all the mothers in the world for their boundless love. And our gathering is very cozy today. And we'll begin our gathering with making bowing practice to Dharma Kaya Buddha Fourfold Grace. So please stand and stand side of your mat. Join your palms together and gather them in front of your heart center. Let us breathe. Once again, breathe in and breathe out. And we face the Dharmakaya Buddha Fourfold Grace, which representing and symbolizes as circle image. We call this Ilwon-sang, the Dharmakaya Buddha Fourfold Grace. And our Dharma gathering begins with bowing practice. With full bowing practice, I bow in gratitude to the grace of heaven and earth, honoring the infinite beneficence of nature and the universe. I bow in gratitude to the grace of parents, mothers, honoring the beneficence from mothers, ancestors, and all those who have had a nurturing role in my life. I bow in gratitude to the grace of fellow beings, recognizing the truth of interconnectedness. I bow in gratitude to the grace of laws, which guides us, protects us, and promotes justice. Now please be seated. Now we'll engage in sitting meditation practice. Feel free to make your body comfortable on your mat or in your chair. And with the method of sitting meditation by Pete, we'll enter into deep samadhi.
The method of sitting meditation is simple and easy. Sit comfortably on the floor or in a chair. Breathe in, grab all your tension, and breathe it out. Open up your chest and heart, stretch up tall, and align your spine from your neck to your tailbone. Relax your shoulders and arms, and allow your hands to rest on your knees. bring your attention to your breath. As you exhale, release all mental and physical tension. Invite your attention to abide in your chi energy field, which is called Tanja. This is located 2 inches below your navel and is the power center for your breathing. Open your eyes and gaze downward over the end of your nose into the floor. Keep your mouth closed and allow the tip of your tongue to rest gently against the roof of your mouth. When your mind is concentrated and calm, pure and clear saliva may gather in the mouth. You may swallow it. Relax your facial muscles and notice your gentle smile. If your face or body begins to itch, do not scratch. This is just a sign of the energy circulating in your body. Simply note the itching and let it pass. If your legs ache unbearably, you may change position very slowly and quietly so that you maintain a calm stillness and do not interrupt others. When thoughts arise in your mind, do not be discouraged or disturbed by them. Simply focus on your breathing without reacting to or playing with those thoughts. Recognize them as thoughts. They will disappear by themselves. And remember, keep bringing your awareness back to your Tanjan breathing center. If you continue practicing meditation for a long period of time, you will rest in the realm of samadhi, deep meditation in which the mind is calm, concentrated, perfectly focused, and at peace, with no distinction between self and others, time and place.
When it comes to meditation, there are many forms. Now practice Sutra Chanting Meditation, page 4 and page 5. Page 4, 일원상vow.
일원상vow.
Universe and speech, the gateway of birth and death, transcending being and non-being, the origin, heaven and earth, parents, fellow beings, and lost the true nature. Buddha's enlightened master, unenlightened people and sentient beings. Here one manifests as both permanence and impermanence, fused as permanent. Here one unfolds into an infinite world that is ever abide, spontaneous, just as it is, fused as impermanent. Here one unfolds into infinite world through the cycle of formation, duration, decay and extinction of the universe, and the birth, aging, illness, death of all beings, according to how we use our minds and bodies. We transform through the 6 forms of existence, progressing or regressing, with grace arising from harm or harm from grace. Therefore, unawakened beings vow to practice wholeheartedly, modeling ourselves after Dharma Kaya Buddha by cultivating our minds and bodies, deeply knowing human affairs and universal principles thoroughly, and using our minds and bodies skillfully, thus progressing rather than regressing, receiving grace rather than harm, until we attain great empowerment of everyone and become one with the nature of everyone. The Bodhisattva of compassion, when deeply practicing prajna paramita, realize that all 5 aggregates are empty and thus free from all suffering and distress. So Shariputra, whom does not differ from emptiness, emptiness differ from form is emptiness, emptiness is form, the same is true of sensations, perceptions, consciousness. So Shariputra, all dharmas are empty, they do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease in emptiness. Form, no sensations, no perceptions, no impulses, consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind,
form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of by ear, nose, tongue, body, consciousness, no ignorance, no extinction, no ignorance. Old days and death, no extinction of them, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cessation of suffering. No attainment with nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva relies on prajna paramita. Therefore, the mind has no, without any hindrance, no fears exist. Free from delusion, one dwells in earth. All Buddhas of the past, present, and future rely on prajna paramita and attain supreme light. Therefore, know that prajna paramita is the great mantra, is the great enlightening, is the unsurpassed and unequaled mantra which is able to eliminate all suffering. This is true, not false, so proclaim. Prajna paramita mantra which says gone, gone, gone beyond, far beyond. Now awaken, gate, gate, parasamgate bodhisvaha, gate, gate, parasamgate bodhisvaha, gate, gate, parasamgate bodhisvaha.
Now you may put your hands on your knees. Gently circle your upper body and stretch yourself. Now wiggle your fingers. And tap your fingertips. Tap, 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 tap. Inside of your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And at the bottom, the root of your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And air clapping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fingertips onto your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Fingers together. Press your arms upward. Stretch yourself side to side. Hands down. This morning we'll listen to a Dharma talk from Reverend Yo Won. The full title of her talk is Daily Reflections for Living a Grateful Life. Daily Reflections for Living a Grateful Life. Please join your palms together. Let us greet Reverend Yo Won.
Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. I express my gratitude not only to all mothers in the world who have given us life, nurtured us, and taught us, but especially to my own mother who resides in Korea. I'm unsure how to repay the boundless love and dedication my mother has given me throughout her life. Today, I want to talk to you about how we can transform feelings of resentment into gratitude and adversity into grace. As I prepared this talk, I found myself thinking a lot about my mother. A few years ago, when I was involved as a mentor in a youth mentoring program, I interviewed my father about his personal history. It was a program designed to teach mentees that even if their parents seemed irrational or flawed, there was a history that led them to be that way. And I wanted to lead by example by conducting interview myself. But then suddenly he burst into tears, saying, "Do you know how grateful your mother is for giving birth to you and bringing you into this world?" Actually, my mother couldn't even hold me right after I was born. She didn't get to see me until a week later. She was in critical condition while giving birth to me. She arrived at the hospital unconscious, and even though her life was in danger, she didn't give up on me and brought me into this world against all odds. It's because of her unwavering determination and sacrifice that I am able to be here today with you. So from a young age, I always felt deeply grateful for my mother's love, and I have lived diligently to repay her grace. However, when I went to university, my mind started to be drawn to luxurious clothes, good food, and fancy travel destinations. And I became fixated on the wounds inflicted by mother, becoming disappointed in her, and often forgetting her love and grace that I once vividly felt. Though the roots were planted, my heart withered away like a plant whose leaves have all dried up. Once, we had felt like one entity, and we could feel each other's emotional states, even when physically apart. But from that time onward, it felt like we had become two separate beings, and I even felt like an orphan. My teacher always emphasized the importance of repaying the grace of parents, saying that we often live resenting and fixating on one mistake our parents made and forget the countless kindness they bestowed upon us. Inspired by this teaching, I resolved to deeply feel once again the immense grace of my parents who wanted to do anything for my sake and earnestly practice gratitude. It was then that I encountered this Dharma discourse of Cardinal Master Chwasan. The Dharma discourse, titled Reflecting on the 9 Principles of Gratitude, is structured around 9 items for daily self-reflection. Shall we read each item together?
1.
Have you thoroughly reflected upon appreciate entirely into acts of repaying grace, feeling as if the fourfold grace flows through you like blood vessels? 3. In the face of myriad adversities that may afflict and threaten your life, can you remain serene, free from even the slightest hint of resentment, and steadfastly maintain the attitude of gratitude? Can you dissolve, without any lingering regret, the accumulated empty from countless past lives, transmuting it into grace? 5. Do you possess the tolerance for forgive 100 wrongs repeatedly and transmute them into grace? 6. Do you have the resolve to ensure that this grace remains unchanging throughout countless aeons? 7. Can you utilize and transmute all favorable and adverse sensory conditions, as well as the intertwined karmic connections of virtue and vice, into grace? 8. Can you transform and bestow grace upon all beings in the 6 realms of existence without exception, and convert every interaction among all sentient beings into mutual acts of grace without mutual harm? Can you discover, develop, and fully utilize infinite grace within the myriad things and phenomena of the universe and the Dharma realm of empty space, leaving nothing untouched and exploring all possibilities for application? Requiring the fourfold grace is the path that enables us to connect with all things in the universe through more energy. It is a path that transforms all things in the universe into grace, into virtuous connections, and into fields of blessings. Wow, that is so profound, isn't it? So, how many of these items do you think you can actually put into practice? 1, raise your hand. 1. 2. 3. 3 or more. Oh my God, Olga, would you come up here? I think you might have give a Dharma talk in my place. Honestly, I haven't been able to practice all of these by myself. I had to really commit and make an effort to practice for this talk. After learning this Dharma discourse, I wasn't confident about practicing all of this. Each day feels like a struggle for me, and I often find myself disappointed in my inability to cope with adverse sensory conditions. But then to think about number 4, resolving accumulated enmity from countless past lives without any lingering regrets and transmuting it into grace. It's quite daunting. So while I had settled on a topic, preparing the talk, it was initially quite a struggle. However, I began to introspect and listen to the voices within me, deep within me. I took the time to carefully reread the discourse. Initially, I heard a voice saying, "This is impossible for me." But as I listened more closely, I found a deeper voice saying, "In fact, I want to live according to this Dharma discourse. I want to dissolve all the deep-seated enmity that torments me and turn it into grace." With this realization, I made a small effort to incorporate the teachings of my teachers into my daily life, in hopes of bringing about changes described in the Dharma discourse. Do any of you also harbor deep-seated resentments or grudges that you'd rather not acknowledge? If so, let's study this discourse today and compare it with our own lives. Item 7, can we transform and utilize all sensory conditions, both favorable and adverse, along with the intertwined karmic connections of virtue and vice into grace. How can we turn those who bring harm or difficult sensory conditions into sources of grace? And how can we make use of that grace? This concept is grounded in the understanding that in the universe, nothing is inherently all good or all bad. Rather, there is coexistence of fortune and misfortune, grace and adversity. In the same vein, in the universe, yin and yang coexist, where winter, with its strongest yin energy, is exceedingly cold, yet within it lies a seed of yang, gradually warming and bringing forth spring. Similarly, summer with its strongest yang energy is excessively hot, yet within it lies the seed of yin, gradually cooling and ushering in winter. Even when faced with situations that cause harm, if we can discover within them the presence of grace and opportunity, we can turn those circumstances into beneficial experiences. Therefore, even Cardinal Master Taizan said, when someone troubles or harms me, instead of seeing them as an enemy, consider them as providing an opportunity for personal growth and learning, and cultivate great gratitude for the grace they offer. So how can we effectively incorporate the teachings provided by sensory conditions into our lives for our benefit? Today, I'd like to share 2 methods that I have been practicing with you all. The first method is to turn enemies into grace. This is something the founding master Sotaesan himself spoke of. How can we turn enemies into grace, into benefactors? It becomes possible when we learn to use our own mind wisely. Let me share my story. My father passed away a few years ago, and I have 3 aunts. My father had 3 sisters. Since I was young, my aunts showed me love, but somewhere they seemed cool or distant. Then right after my father's passing, they completely changed. It felt as if they were keeping my siblings away from my grandmother and were trying to take over our family house where we had lived for over 30 years without our knowledge. When I confronted this situation, I was initially shocked to the core. I couldn't sleep thinking to myself, like, how could family do such a thing? And the thoughts lingered even during my morning meditation. But when I shared this with my teacher, he said, never hold resentment. At that very moment, when shock could have easily led to resentment, hearing those words strangely stopped my mind from flowing into resentment and instead brought it to the completely halt. So miraculously, a new sensory condition appeared. That is, a new horizon that opened up before the eyes of my mind. It was as if I could not see the principle of cause and effect. Our grandmother favored only our father since my aunts were young, as it was a quite patriarchal culture in Korea, and she often took care of our family more than hers. So resentment towards my father had been brewing in my aunt's heart, and eventually upon his passing, they aimed to harm our family. Feeling the depth of their hearts, I fully realized how difficult it must have been for them. Memories flooded back, like our eldest aunt working hard to save money for my dormitory fees when I entered university, or the images of my youngest aunt lovingly holding me in my baby photos. Seeing through their resentment, only gratitude remained in my heart, prompting me to write a letter to them expressing my feelings. Aunties, I've been through so and so and felt so and so. I love you and appreciate you. I can only imagine how tough it must have been for you all this time. I'll practice to support you when in need. The essence here is that by pausing the mind and restoring the sound thought, correct judgment emerges. Had I succumbed to boiling emotions without heeding my teacher's words, I would have likely suffered mentally or found myself overwhelmed with anger and resentment. The second method involves practicing not harboring resentment by contrasting it with the teachings and practice of mind of our teacher. This practice is akin to a car coming to a full stop when it sees a red light. When faced with something to resent, it means pausing before allowing resentment to arise. It's about being prepared to die to any circumstances that could trigger resentment so that the mind remains unmoved and unswayed. If we don't stop like this at the outset, resentment grows like a snowball, gradually reaching a point where we can no longer control it. Once we harbor resentment, it summons all past grievance from actions of others taken the previous day, a week ago, to even a year ago. That's why I believe it's most important not to harbor resentment from the start. Someone might ask me, is it possible not to harbor resentment? From my experience, I believe it is possible. When my mind and body becomes weary for any reason, irritation rises up to my throat. Executing the act of not harboring resentment is indeed very challenging, requiring significant effort, but trying it out, even at the risk of my life, surprisingly works. And as I pondered why I was feeling so irritable, I realized that deep within, there was always a strand of desires for my own sake. That was intricately woven. As an ordained devotee, one Buddhist minister, the essence lies in sacrificing oneself to save the world and all beings. Yet I found myself doing the exact opposite. When resentment surged like flames, I felt like I could only survive by venting it out. It was precisely at those moments that I discovered, through the teachings and practices of my teachers, that overcoming that hurdle felt like a weight being lifted off my chest. So I sincerely urge you all to join me in overcoming just once those unbearable moments when resentment arises. Reflecting on the teaching, in the face of myriad adversities that may afflict and threaten your life, can you remain serene, free from even the slightest hint of resentment, and steadfastly maintain the attitude of gratitude? When engaging in this practice, it's important to note that it's not about simply suppressing anger at all costs. Suppressing emotions forcefully is like pressing down on grass with a rock. It may explode eventually. and the grace will spring back to life. That effort alone has the power to completely transform the destiny of our mind. However, I am well aware that reaching the state that aligns with the 9 principles I mentioned earlier is still a long way off. Nevertheless, I also know that if I resolve to strive for it with all my being, I can surely attain it. Founding Master Sotaesan diagnosed this world as afflicted with the disease of resentment. He stated that whether they are siblings, spouses, parents, children, relatives, or friends, as well as groups, communities, and nations, tend to resent one another, focusing only on the faults of others rather than recognizing their own. He warned that if this disease is left unchecked, the world will inevitably face an unrecoverable crisis. Through reaching in every possible way, pondering and deliberating extensively, Founding Master Sotaesan finally discovered a solid remedy, which is to transform enemies into grace. When enmity in our heart turns into grace, the environment around us transforms, leading to mutual prosperity in society, nation, and the world. I contemplate these teachings, and I hope you will take this discourse and read it daily, and also you contemplate these teachings very carefully. I believe you will experience the gradual melting away of resentments that torment your heart, which seem unsolvable even unto death. I too will continue to cultivate grace without giving up until the end. Thank you for listening.
There is a wake-up call. Wake up. And thank you, Reverend Yowan, for your heartfelt sharing how you're practicing with your relationships. So why don't we take a time to make a pair to your neighbor and talk about how we practice with this theme of how we turn resentment into gratitude. How do you practice? This is actually the core practice that we do with this teaching. So pair up with your neighbor, just 2 people. 2 people pair up, turn to your neighbor. I'll give you 5 minutes to talk about this theme. 5 minutes of sharing how you practice this. Turning resentment into gratitude.
Let us wrap up our discussion with our neighbors and let us make a circle. We'll end with circle. I invite everybody to be in one circle. Once in a while, we get this cozy circle, small group of people, and this year, Mother's Day. So, motherhood may not be experienced by everyone, but we all have mother in our lives. Raise up your hand if you don't have your mother. Okay. If you don't, sorry, let me clarify my question. Whether they are currently with us or have passed away, we all have our mothers, right? Is that correct? Yeah, I think this is true. This truthful statement. And once in a while, I think about this, how fortunate I am to be able to enjoy this moment today, or yesterday, tomorrow, all throughout all my life. Thanks to my mom who brought me and nurtured me in this world. So I am thankful with my mom and all the mothers in the world. In fact, I was born in Mother's Day in Korea, which is not today. That's the other day in Korea. So I am double, how to say? Yeah, double. My blessing is doubled. And I think about my mom on the Mother's Day in Korea and also Mother's Day in the States. So now I'd like to invite everybody to reflect and honor and cherish your moms by saying their names. I'd like to know what is the name of your mothers. Did you understand? Do you see what we're doing? I'm going to pass this flower to my neighbor, and you're going to honor your mom by saying your mom's name. Then we'll repeat the name. And I think all guys' eyes are tearing up. Are you ready? Are you? Okay. Let me pass this. Got it? for mothers in the world. Dharma Kaya Buddha, fourfold grace. Mothers nurture, empower, and guide their children with boundless love. Their wisdom lays the groundwork for their children's lives, shaping them for adulthood. We pray for all mothers, young and old, near and far, and especially for our own mothers and all those who have played the vital role of mother in our lives. May every mother in the world be filled with strength, wisdom, and patience as they carry out their noble calling of motherhood. May they feel cherished and valued, not just today, but every day. For anyone struggling with their relationship with their mother, may they find the guidance to release any lingering unresolved feelings. We cherish today, we celebrate today, the Mother's Day, with one mind and one heart. Namu Amitabha. Namu Amitabha. Namu Amitabha. Namu Amitabha. This circle, especially among us, I believe, there are those, I think just few of you, who are mothers themselves. And for them, we have prepared a flower. Have you noticed that flower with ribbon? So, if you're a mother, that means if you have your own offspring, please come to the center. Thank you so much. And I'm going to place this flower in the lobby. So if you have planned to visit your mom or anybody in your life who had this mother's role in your life, you're welcome to take one flower with you as well. So next Sunday, we'll celebrate another special occasion, which is, anybody knows? Buddha's birthday. There you go. So this year, Buddha's birthday, the actual day is May 15th. Then we'll celebrate the life of Buddha in next coming Sunday. Let's see. We have upcoming retreat scheduled in the last weekend of May over the Memorial Day weekend, 24th to 27th. There's a few more seats available, so find more information about that retreat. Nobody has the booklet anymore. Morning prayer song. Let's sing a song together. Dharma Kaya on world. This concludes Mother's Day service. Please continue the celebration of Mother's Day throughout your rest of your day. Cookies and tea are in the lobby.